Hello there, I'm James the Grumpy Petrolhead. Today we are celebrating. We are celebrating our very first 1,000 subscribers. And we're going to celebrate by taking our Rolls Royce for a drive. So why not come along? Okay, so let's start the Rolls Royce. We need to turn the choke on, or actually turn it to the starting carburettor, which is this big lever here. I'm going to run it a little bit rich while it warms up. That's running lean, and that's running rich. When the car's cold, we can lower the radiator grills, so the grills are closed. Over here, this is the ignition switch. That's off, that's ignition on, and that's ignition on, but also the battery charger on. And here we're going to retard the ignition, and we're going to close the throttle. This is the throttle closed, that's the throttle open. This is ignition retarded, and that's ignition advanced. Underneath my foot there's a foot pedal, so press the foot pedal and hopefully it starts. So what I did there was, as it started, I advanced the ignition, and as soon as I heard it fire, I gave it some throttle. So now we take the, well, assuming it's warmed up, we now take off the choke, adjust the tick over with the throttle. The car's already quite warm, so we can now open the vents for the radiator. And now we're ready to go. See if we can get up here in fourth gear. Well, that was alright, didn't it? It drove smoothly. I'd like to take this car to France and drive around the French roads and have an adventure. And I often think about what I'd need to prepare spare points, maybe a spare coil, a spare battery, tubes, foot pump, exhaust valve, head gasket,
credit card.
Well, credit card and breakdown cover. But the last time we went to France in a vintage car, we had absolutely no problems at all. That might fill us with a false sense of security if we ever do get around to taking this car to France. But then again, on the other side of it, look at the countryside that we have here in this country. Some of these old cars experience what we call death wobble, because at low speed, it's a bit like the casters on a shopping trolley. They can get into a, what's the word? Oscillation, where you hit a bump and the wheel starts shaking, causes the other wheel to start shaking, and it just gets worse and worse. It usually happens between 5 and 10 miles an hour, and the only way to stop it is to stop. But on this Rolls Royce, there's sort of some steering dampers, and if you adjust them just right, you can largely eliminate this so-called death wobble. And I have adjusted these, and since I've adjusted it, I haven't experienced it. Sometimes when I'm driving an old car like this, I look ahead and think, what a lovely quiet road. There's hardly any traffic about. Then I look behind me. Sometimes when you're making your way, or you're making good progress up a hill, and you're doing well, and you're carrying a bit of speed, and then something in front of you slows down, and that's really not what you want. Well, thank you for coming along with us on this little ride in the countryside in our Rolls Royce, and thank you for everybody who's subscribed, and thank you for everyone who leaves all the lovely comments, and thank you to everyone for simply watching. And next week we're going to be looking at a 1940s motorcycle. Oh, it's a Ferrari. And maybe the week after that we're going to be looking at some vintage car repairs and servicing. With these old vehicles, it's hard to say exactly what we're going to be doing from one week to the next, in case another emergency repair might rear its head. But anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Cheerio.